to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
All right, welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is episode 37, and we got the biggest game of the year coming up this weekend, boys and girls. Mike, tell me how you're feeling right now. Give me the microcosm of Mike.
Oh boy, where do I even start? We have a lot going on this week. Anybody that tells you that this is just another game is either lying or not informed at all. This is our season right here, this game. To me, our season is on the line with this game right here. This game means everything. It means so much. If we win, we clinch the AFC East. And furthermore, we shut everybody up about the strength of schedule. Okay. So in one fell swoop, we can chop down a lot of trees. You guys are going to have to forgive Joe today. He's a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, a little bit.
I freaking pulled him in. I told him we had to get it going. We had to get the episode going. So he's powering through. The man is a trooper.
We're a day late, but we will not be $1 short. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely not whatsoever. So I think there's been a lot of negativity in the past couple of days with the national pundits and the opinions of people on TV and things like that, saying that I get the general consensus that people think the Bills are the better team based on what everybody's thinking, like, oh, the Patriots have had a good run, but the Bills are just a better team. And I've seen the Bills lose a couple of games where they played really crappy and they've been really exposed this season. And why can't we take advantage of and expose that? I agree. Why? How come all of a sudden we're less than, we're not better than the Bills based on? I don't care about strength of schedule. I don't want to hear about strength of schedule. We have the best record in the league. Us and the Broncos. We have the best record in the league. And in the famous words of Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. Okay. And that's what they used to ask him when he was 4-6 with the Patriots in 1994. And he's like, do you think you're better than a 4-6 team? And he's like, no, we are what our record says we are. And that's true. It's the
every second of it.
It's the NFL. So I don't want to hear about any of the strength of schedule stuff. We still won those games. They weren't cakewalks. And those other teams have beaten other better teams than us, according to the pundits. So I want to know where people stand. I'm having I'm having a problem right now with the way the line moved. Joe, we've talked about this a little bit.
We're going to get into that. Because now you got Vegas walking it back, and it's obviously because there's a lot of money getting put down. All right. So Mike, we're going to get back into this stuff and a lot of other things too. We're going to talk about the key injuries. We're going to talk about the differences between the last game against the Bills earlier in the season and this game. We're going to talk about all that stuff. Before we get into that, though, we have to talk about our sponsors, Horizon HVAC, guys. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't had them come out, have them come out. It's, $250 for the silver package. That includes one visit. They check everything out, top to bottom, make sure everything's running tip top. And that's the silver package. You can get the gold package too. It's great because you get two visits. You get the summer visit, you get the winter visit. Check him out, Mike Cesaroni. He's all over Instagram. Him and his wife. These guys are hysterical. They get 10 million views on one post. They're hysterical.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These guys are animal. He's an animal. So we're gonna do a podcast with them once him and I connect. He's been really busy, so we'll connect at some point. We'll get into his studio and get that going. Our other sponsor, Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. I still have to talk to Ryan about this, but playoffs are coming, boys and girls, and we're going to have an event. I'm going to talk to the Fanatics guy at some point, talk to Ryan, and we're going to get this thing going. We're going to be giving out jerseys. Who knows what we'll be giving out? But it's going to be an awesome event. The first one was a smash hit. Rogue Island kept on coming out with different hors d'oeuvres and all kinds of stuff. Everyone was floored. So Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar, it's in Providence. If you're ever in the Providence area, it's in the arcade. Go check it out. See Ryan Bissett. He's the owner. If you mention the LFG Pat Spot, I'm sure he'll hook you guys up with something. All of our listeners that have been in have gotten something, and by the way, they're going back quite a bit. So, so
they
Mike,
have a lot of repeat clientele there.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me about these odds, Mike. What do you think about these Vegas odds?
Well, first, before I get into that, I want to. Did you see the post about Rogue Island about Ryan got a 9-pound king crab, Alaskan king crab in the other day?
I did see that. Yeah,
I
that was
didn't see
amazing.
it until after the fact. That would have totally gone down. He was doing Alaskan king crab eggs Benedict and Alaskan king crab lobster roll, like a crab roll. If I had known that was going on, I would have made a beeline down there. A 9-pound Alaskan king crab. It's absolutely huge.
The box was like a massive box that came in.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think someone donated it or something.
No way. I was going to say, I can't imagine how much that would have cost.
Yeah, I think someone donated it because he did it. He does so much charity work. He's got Hogs for a Cause every year. He raises like $100,000 in New Orleans, puts serious money into it. It's all for the kids. But he's a big charity guy, huge.
Yeah, we have a lot of love for Rogue Island. To me, our season started officially at Rogue Island.
Oh, for sure.
When we had that event there and the Pats pulled off that miraculous win versus the Bills, we were all there. We were all watching it. And to me, that was the official arrival of this Patriots team, was beating the Bills in Buffalo on that night. We had a great event. We had a great turnout. We had a great outcome of the game. And now things are just coming around full circle. That was the most important game of our early season. And now the Bills, we're coming right back around. Now they're the most important game of our late season here. So, yeah, go to Rogue Island, man. The guy, he's a creative genius. You can give him a friggin' flip-flop and he'll make it into a gourmet meal. This guy he's no joke. You get a 9-pound king crab leg in, and I can't wait to see.
He'll roast that flip-flop for like 3 hours.
Yes,
he'll put microgreens on top of it, a banging sauce. It'll be tender as hell. You're gonna be like telling all your friends about this flip-flop you ate at Rogue Island.
Yeah, the man, he's a magician. He's an incredibly progressively creative culinary mind. So I always recommend. That's why the JWU kids love him. Johnson and Wales, the Culinary Institute. That's why they love him, because they can get a lot of new, fresh ideas from them. But yes, Rogue Island's awesome. And yes, let's move forward. The line, a little suspicious, Joe. A little suspicious.
I think so too.
The line has moved a full 3 points from us getting 1.5, and now all of a sudden we're giving 1.5, and that only means there's so much action that Vegas had to move the line. So people obviously weren't necessarily buying into Buffalo being the favorite. Is the bottom line.
And Vegas wants to hedge, right? Vegas is like, oh, there's a lot of people that are feeling like, could be a 3-point game, could be who knows, right? And so when that big of a swing happens, we
need to shut people up. People need to be shut up.
I agree.
I'm just sick and tired of hearing and we're a day late on a podcast. We usually do it Tuesday, but I'm glad that we got the extra day in, so I have this extra information, especially because the line just moved today, and I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have had that information yesterday. So knowing all of that, don't rule the Patriots out, national pundits, okay? Because people are betting enough on them as the dog so much that you had to move the line in a different direction. So the people that got in under at 1.5, as they took the 1.5 dogs, the Patriots, those people are going to be sitting pretty, because that line's not available to them anymore. It's just not available. Now we're the favorites. I personally think it's a pick'em game. I don't think there's a line.
Agreed.
I don't think it's a line on it either way. I really think it's a pick'em. But that's why they play the games, right? So I can't wait to see how we come out. Mike Vrabel all week has been talking about we're playing for a championship this week, and people keep asking him what he means by that, and he keeps giving like snide, sarcastic remarks and not directly answering the question. But I'm going to tell you what he means by that. What he means by that is the AFC East Championship. That's what he means, and he means it. And he wants this team to clinch this week, and he's making no bones about it in no uncertain terms. Vrabel wants this team to come out like a bunch of rabid wild animals and treat this like it's their friggin' in-season Super Bowl. So that's why he's he's been saying that rhetoric all week about, championship this and champions do this and champions do that, because he wants to win the AFC East this week. And I don't blame him, because this is going to answer so many questions for us if we actually pull it off, which again, my opinion is it's a pick 'em. I really think it's whoever comes out.
100%.
I really think it's who comes out better. The mistakes that other people make, it's going to come down to penalties and turnovers and spying Josh Allen on a 3rd and 15 when everybody's dropping back, and then he manages to pick up that 3rd and 15 because nobody's looking at him. If we can,
he's been better on his feet. He's been better on his feet this year than Drake May. He's been more efficient. He's got more rushing touchdowns. His EPA per run play is higher, much higher. So he will hurt us on if we're not, like you said, if we're not spying, if we're playing man, just like we always say with Drake May, he will hurt us. A lot of Bills fans coming out right now and showing love though. So I've seen this before, so I actually have an image I want to share. But Stephen Noble here, Bills fan here. Vrabel is one hell of a coach, and much respect by myself. I'm seeing a lot of respectful Bills fans, and I love it. There was actually, hold on, I want to show.
Bills fans are cool, man. I don't have a problem with Bills fans. They are incredibly crazy and ravenous and passionate about their team, but they love their team. You can't ask for anything better than that.
But yeah, this Bills on the Reel, I told him I was going to give him a shout out tonight. He said, "Why is this man actually one of the most likable players in the league? One of the best nicknames, if not the best, and he's an overall great dude and player. How can you not like Drake May, man?" And this is
just an all shucks good old boy.
It's between him and Josh Allen, all they're doing is praising each other. So obviously Drake May came out on WEI in the afternoon and said, it's a little different when you're playing the MVP, one of the best players in the league. Shoot, I hate to say it, but he's fun to watch when he's playing. Big fan of him off the field. He's been great to me. And then I'll show this clip of Josh Allen again throwing flowers.
Playing like a veteran quarterback. He's seeing things extremely well. He plays at a great pace. Things looks like things have slowed down for him, which again we hate to see that, right? But I'm happy for how well he's playing, because he's a great human being on top of being a football player, and we just gotta find a way to win on Sunday.
Nice clip. That's awesome.
I mean, it's respect all around. And like you said, Mike, it's a pick 'em. It's anybody who comes, if they come out like they did against the Giants, right? It's going to be tough sledding for the Bills. But if we come out like we've had every other game, right? It's if we go down 10 to the Bills, it's going to be tough, right? This team has the ability to come back one and has the ability to step on your throat. Josh Allen is a big play every time he touches the ball. So this is we already beat them, right? So they have something to prove here too, and their season's on the line.
I'll give you a very direct parallel here, and it happened just as early as this past week. If Joe Burrow didn't make those 2 ridiculously boneheaded interceptions, that game would have been a different game. Now, I'm not saying the Bengals would have won, but I'm saying it would have been a much different game. They ultimately ended up beating themselves with those 2 terrible decisions by friggin' Joe Burrow. And that's what we can't afford to have. You cannot afford turnovers, and you cannot afford, especially pre-snap penalties. Pre-snap penalties and turnovers is what will lose you this game if you're not sound on all fundamental levels. And I have a level of concern about that. And it's because of Vidarian Lowe. That guy all last year was, and now he's thrust into a new role. The last game that they played, he acquitted himself nicely. He didn't have any kind of penalties, like pre-snap penalties or anything. But that's the one thing you have to look out for, is to make sure that these dudes are staying steady under pressure and not beating themselves. If you beat yourselves, a team like the Bills is going to beat you 100% of the time. Drake May needs to be smart with the football. He still needs to let it loose and let it rip. I want him to go downfield and whatnot, but I don't want him to try to make plays that aren't there. I'd rather him tuck it and get a sack or throw it out of bounds than try to make a play that's not there. And the biggest development on that end this season is, now you notice last year in the beginning of the season, he'd get back there and start like getting ready to throw like this. Now he always has 2 hands on the ball in the pocket. Yep. So when the pocket's collapsing, collapsing, he makes sure he has two hands on the ball,
And
secures
he's
it.
protecting. He's sliding. He's dipping his shoulders, and so he's kind
stepping
of
into
shielding
it.
the ball. Yep.
He's getting the feel of the pocket, but he's keeping two hands on the football until he's ready to throw. And that was his big knock as far as his turnovers last year and at the earlier part of this season when he makes some of those boneheaded, like try to hero ball play. He doesn't have to do any hero ball. All he has to do is like work within the constructs and the confines of the offensive game plan, which I'm sure Josh McDaniels is going to dial up something great for us. So as long as Drake can maintain his fundamentals and continue to do what he needs to do, Joey Bosa's coming back. I'm not that afraid of Joey Bosa.
He's banged up. He's got a hammy.
They're making a big deal out of it. He didn't do anything in the first game. He had I think one hurry and maybe one tackle, something like that. He didn't do anything. So I'm not worried about a Joey Bosa. I'm not really concerned with any injuries that are going on their side of the ball. I'm more worried about us and who's going to be ready to go. And it looks like pretty much everybody's going to be ready to go. Obviously, save for Will Campbell and Milton Williams, but we'll get those guys back toward the end of the year. But if we can hold serve on this right here, it's going to shut everybody the hell up. So I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be an absolute roller coaster. And again, it depends on who comes out, who wants to punch first, who wants to make their statement first. And whoever does, I think is going to end up having the edge. We've said it all season long about the first 15 plays, and we're sick and talking about that. But by this point, don't you think they should know what the first 15 plays would generally be from Josh and the Bills? You know what I mean? By this point, there's so much film on them, and they already played them once, so they should have a little bit better understanding of that. I'm not going to like it if the Bills, if they get the ball first, I won't mind because that means we deferred, and I'd rather have the ball in the second half. But if they score if they score a touchdown on whatever opening drive they have, I'm not going to like that because this is a team you have to jump out in front of early in order to get a good head start on them because Josh Allen's going to come with his late heroics. Whether you're spying him or not, he's going to make plays. So you 100%. Have to start. You have to start early in this game, and you have to play mistake-free football and disciplined football. And I know that's being drilled into the heads of these guys all week long, this whole week. And I'm sure the moment is not lost on any of them. Stephon Diggs, he does the pregame speeches. He's going to have everybody with their hair on
he's going to be out of his mind. He's going to be absolutely out of his mind. I think the other thing I think we need to talk about is the key differences between when we played them before and with the now. Now, obviously, you talked about Milton Williams, obviously Will Campbell. We're going to get Jared Wilson back, but obviously Vidarian Lowe, that combination we haven't seen with Jared Wilson, so we'll see that. Milton Williams, they also have Ed Oliver out, so maybe that's a wash. Who knows? It will be interesting.
It helps.
It definitely helps. But we have Tonga coming back. We haven't played James Cook without Milton Williams, so we'll see. Can we contain James Cook to an extent? Can we keep him in check? That'll be big.
It's going to be tough. I saw a graphic today that forgive Joe. Everybody forgive Joe.
Sorry.
He's powering. No, don't apologize. He's powering through. We give him that respect for that. All right. There's no war graphic today where pre Milton Williams injury, we gave up 80 or 90 yards rushing a game. And then since he's gone down, we've given up 125 rushing yards a game. So anybody that said last year that he was just strictly a pass rush specialist for the Eagles, they didn't know what they were talking about. Yeah. Because this guy is an absolute stalwart on the front with the run or the pass. We are missing him. I'm not going to lie. We are missing that guy immensely. But the good thing is he's going to be back. He's going to be back if they play whoever plays in the last week of the season. I don't know how that's going to shake out based on this next couple games we're going to play, but he's definitely going to be back for the playoffs, and that'll be a huge boon to us. But I'm not going to lie, it hurts. The guy, his contribution is worth every last penny that we paid this man. He was a stud. He's a stalwart, and I'm a little concerned about that. I'm happy that Kairos Tonga is full participant this week because he's also a huge run stuffer. So if you have Tonga and Barmore in the front and they're fully healthy and ready to go, I still have faith and confidence in that. It would have been so much nicer if Milton was around.
Of course. But we do have other players coming on. We have Durden. We have the undrafted guy, Elijah Ponder. We got some guys that are coming on. They're coming on pretty well. The other thing I want to talk about, Mike, and this is, I think, really interesting, is now the rookie player of the month, Trevion Henderson, coming on the scene now. That wasn't something we had when we first played the Bills. So that could be really interesting. These Bills are one of the worst in the league at run defense. And so when it comes down to it, you could see a huge game from Trevion or Ramondre. I mean, I think, Trevion has shown more effective overall, like all like receiving, running, you name it. His efficiency is through the roof compared to Ramondre.
I think there's no way for us to predict that, Joe.
There's no. Right.
Josh McDaniels' game plan, it might feature Ramondre heavily, or it might feature Trevion heavily, depending on what their game plan is. You don't know until they get into the actual game plan.
I would love to see them attack the outside. I mean, I don't see these guys getting to the edge.
I agree.
They don't really have true edge setters. Joey Bosa's a one-trick pony. So I would like to see them get to the edge. I'd like to see some more screens if they're going to be aggressive and send, because they're going to blitz. They're definitely going to blitz. They have to. They're not really a high pressure team. So I definitely see them blitzing quite a bit. And we haven't really relieved pressure that way this year. It's interesting. We just kind of attack them downfield when they blitz, right?
Yeah.
It's a very it's not the Brady offenses we've seen in the past with McDaniels. When they send pressure, we send it deep. We send it, 15, 20, 30 yards down the field. So,
and that's why I'm not super concerned about the Buffalo Bills blitz because Drake can recognize it right at the snap, not pre-snap or post-snap, but right at the snap. He can see who's coming and who's going, and he will know immediately which holes are there behind that initial rush. So he's going to get the ball out quick if that happens. And I implore them to blitz Drake, blitz him. Yeah. Okay. Because if he doesn't get the ball out within 3 seconds, if he sees somebody that's wide open because of a zone that was vacated because somebody is blitzing, if he doesn't see that, and if he tucks and runs, your spy is probably already blitzing. So there's nobody in the damn middle of the field anyway. So Drake could carve up a bunch of running yards if they want to blitz us. I am not afraid of their blitz at all whatsoever. I'm not afraid of Joey Bosa at all whatsoever. And I agree with you that we should attack the edges of the defense. That's where Ramondre does his best work. That's where you can get the double teams on the edge and the crackdowns from the receivers and seal that off and get Trevion outside of tackle. If you can do that, that'll be fine. That's what I would like to see as far as the run distribution is fine. If you want to pound inside, give it to Ramondre. He's good at the inside yards, but if you want to really stretch the edges, you give it to Trevion, and I feel like he will stretch the edges. So I think that we can expose their run. I don't think it's that great. It just, like you said, it really depends on the game plan and who they decide, what they think the best course of action is. And the mystery is we just don't know until we actually see the game. And it's fascinating. I wish I could talk to Josh McDaniels right now and be like, so what are you thinking right now? But that's obviously a pipe dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to come out with a game plan and we're either going to like it or we're not. And that's the mystery, dude. That's
and they adjust too, right? They're one of the best adjusting teams in the league when it comes to offensive and defensive adjustments. So I'm not worried about that. If we come out in a certain way, I know they adjust better than most teams in the second half. One of the interesting stats that I saw, it was a chart on, the left side was missed yards. And I think the right side was missed throws or something. And take a guess who the top three are in the bottom left, which is where you want to be. You don't want to be in the top right. You don't want to have missed throws and missed yards. Who do you think the bottom three was in the bottom corner? Where you want to be in the bottom left corner?
Drake May.
Yep. And
Josh Allen.
yep. Who's the third one? See if you can get the third one.
Uh,
This one shocked me a little bit, but also I'm not shocked when I heard it when I saw
Justin
it.
Herbert.
No, Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Sam Darnold was actually in like almost the apex spot. He was like almost directly in the corner. And then you had Drake May and Josh Allen. So you got guys who, when people are open, they're making the throws. Like they're not missing, they're not losing out on yards. Now I think one of the key things there was drops too, right? So I think our team and the Bills have both been very good at drops this year. I know the Patriots have. They haven't had very many. We got a lot of sure-handed players. So, like you said, Mike, I think it really just it boils down to mistakes, right? It just boils down to who's going to get, and this is what happened in the Bengals game, right? The Bengals-Bills game, that shot put throw that he tried to do over Christian Benford to Chase. And it was just like
not an MVP decision.
And he hasn't played, right? He's only played a week, so
but he's still Joe Burrow. He still knows
I get it.
I
get it. He's trying to win the game. He doesn't get like, hey, the smart thing to hear is put it in the dirt and just call it a day.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a tip ball, threw it right directly smack dab at a defensive lineman. All he had to do was lift his hand up like a foot.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a bonehead play because the guy's right in front of you. These guys are 6'5", 6'6". So yeah, so I do feel that like that game was kind of given to the Bills a bit, but again, they won the game. They won the game, and if they win the game this week, it won't matter how they won the game. If we win the game this week, I don't think anyone has any rights to say anything. I think the schedule people should just be silenced. And my brother said at Rye Guy, he said, last week we're going to run the table. I think if we win this week, we have a very realistic shot to run the table. This is the week that I'm really concerned with. If we come out and, we're 12-2 and we just won the AFC East, good luck, Ravens. Good luck.
That means that we're actually literally for real and nobody can say shit about it from this point forward. We're legitimate. This game legitimizes us. And look, I don't want to go all gloom and doom because if we lose, it's not the end of the world. We're pretty much like almost guaranteed to still make the playoffs. But don't you really want to make the statement? Don't you really want to go in as the number? We're looking at number one seed, fellas. I don't care what anybody else looking at the number one seed right here. I know we're in the number 2 seed right now, but we want the number 1 seed. I don't believe in the Broncos. Broncos fans probably don't believe in the Patriots. I understand all that. But the Broncos have gotten by their chin. And
they just won against the Raiders for a 1-score game against the Raiders. I mean, they have a tough schedule coming up, right? They have the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Chiefs. I mean, they're going down a gauntlet themselves. So yeah, I agree. It's why not us for that first seed?
It's a competition between us and the Broncos at this point. Like, I really wanted them to lose that game against Washington 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago. I thought that Washington had a great opportunity to win that game, and they completely blew it. And that kind of bothered me. Because I want to maintain the status of the number 1 seed, it was just nice to be in that spot. But due to tiebreakers, the Broncos have the number 1 seed. And a lot of people say, "Oh, we don't want to go into Denver and face the Broncos. I'd rather go face the Chiefs than the Broncos." No. I'm fine with going into Mile High Stadium and facing the Broncos, okay? Because they're suspect, all right? Just like what other people say about us. They say we're suspect. They're suspect. We're going to prove to you this week that we're not suspect. And then the Broncos, it's your move, buddy.
I think here's this, right? And you have to, this is any given Sunday, you have to play the games, right? You can, us analysts and people in the social media world can talk all the shit we want, but the game's got to get played, right? But here's my thing with the Broncos, our defense is a little worse, right? Let's just say
Broncos defense is nasty. It's nasty.
Broncos defense, Nick Bonito, these guys are just getting after it, right? These guys generate pressure like anybody else in the game. One of the best pressure teams in the league. They cover well. They play the run game well. But their offense, I'm taking Drake May first of all, And then I'm looking at every other piece that they have. Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, RJ Harvey. They don't even and they got, these pieces that are like they're good,
Pedestrian.
pedestrian compared to Trevion Henderson, Steph Diggs, who, I mean, these guys are Mac Hollins, every one of these guys is a contributor, and Drake May up levels all of them. He up levels all of them, and Bo Nix just doesn't do that this year. We don't know, right? We'll see in the playoffs, and I've kind of kept this out there, because it is a caveat, right? Who knows? These guys come out in the playoffs and they could be completely different people. King Beef says it's so cold in the D. How the fuck do we supposed to keep peace? I know who that is, Steve Stickle. Oh, I love you, man. Oh, that's one of our.
What's that supposed to represent?
It's one of these videos that we used to pass. It's like these Detroit girls that used to like rappers. I'll show you at some point, but it's hysterical. Shout out Steve Stickle. I feel like I'm with you. Honestly, I feel like I'm more scared of the Texans. You want to talk about someone who I don't want to play at their home, which we won't play them at their home because they don't have the record. But that Texans defense, my buddy Matt Martins was saying, they're like the Legion of Boom out there. I mean, this is like the second coming of the Legion of Boom. Every one of them flies off the handle. They can cover well. They can get after the quarterback. Will Anderson is a complete monster.
They got two of the best edge rushers in the league.
Yeah, like
the best
that team is scary. And now their offense is playing well. CJ Stroud came back and he saw what Davis Mills was doing, and he's like, "Nah, I got to play better." So I think Davis Mills lit a fire under CJ Stroud's ass, and now you got that offense is humming pretty good. They got all those rookie receivers playing well: Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz.
And they got that linebacker who Al has he Shahir.
Al Shahir, yeah, exactly. That
guy's a beast.
That guy is he is Christian Ellis on steroids, man. That guy is insane. He doesn't give a shit. He lights people up. He'll twist ankles. That guy he kind of reminds me of like Vontez Burfict, like just a complete monster. Like you don't want to mess around with this guy.
He's way cleaner than Burfict.
Yeah, exactly.
He's dirty. Don't get me wrong, but he's not as dirty as Burfict.
No, Burfict was completely
that guy
barbaric.
He has executed his fair share of dirty hits in this league. I still don't want to run across the middle against him.
No,
and they have two of the best ends in the league. They have Danielle Hunter and friggin' Will Anderson. Those guys scream off the edge.
It's a problem like that team could be in the Super Bowl, and that's no conjecture. That's no hyperbolic statement. That is a fact.
Look, records aside, to be honest with you, so this is what I look at when I look at the Broncos and the Texans. The Broncos have a good defense. The Texans have a more dynamic defense. The Broncos have a game management system on offense, and CJ Stroud is more willing to work off platform into the second level. That's something that the Broncos don't have. Bo Nix, he doesn't make mistakes, but he doesn't make any explosive plays either. Their ball control, game management, and defense, that's what their team is. So if we get into a with them, we're going to win. We're going to beat that team every single time. I can't say that same thing about the Texans based on CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. They got some weapons over there on the offense.
Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. I mean, the list goes on. These
if you ask me right now who I'd rather play, I would say the Broncos. I swear to God.
All day long. All day long.
Play the Broncos.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to come back down to earth. That the game management of Bo Nix, like I said, he doesn't make mistakes, but he doesn't really make that too many plays either. You know? And now they're down to a rookie running back who, he's putting up some numbers, but still, it's tough to rely on a rookie running back as your sole offensive backfield production. So I think Broncos fans would say the same thing to me. I think the Broncos are due for a fall. Personally, and those guys would probably say I'm due for a fall. Well, guess what? I disagree because I'm a homer and I'm a Pats fan. So you guys are due for the fall. We're due for the friggin' beauty and glory of it, and that starts on Sunday, baby.
I'm with you. If they come out like they did against the Giants and they're screaming all over the field, making hits, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems for Buffalo. The way that Marcus Jones is playing, right? The way that Gonzo I saw a top 10 list without Gonzo on it the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Some people have, I think he let up 1 touchdown. But when you're not hearing his name, that's a good thing. And
That's
then
a
I
good
think
thing.
people forget that, and they look at it and go, oh, he's not. I love it. He's underdog a Gonzo some more. That's great. And we got our linebackers that are playing out of their mind now. Craig Woodson's still playing like every snap, and he's playing extremely well. So to me, I feel like this team, this game could go any way. I do feel like it's going to be, some turnovers. It's going to be, it's going to be a chippy game back and forth. So I do believe it's going to be close. But if we come out like we did against the Giants, these Bills better watch out, because I have a feeling, like you said, Mike Vrabel is coaching this team up like this is our Super Bowl. Like he's going to get these guys hyped up. Steph Diggs loves it. He's like, oh, good, we're underdogs. Cool. I like this.
You have any idea how much this game means to that man right there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going to be playing out of his mind.
So, yeah, Steven says, Sunday, let's all drink a bunch of beer, enjoy the game, and as part of respectful fan bases, no matter what the outcome.
Absolutely.
I'm all about that. But by the same token, I troll. Well, I don't troll because I don't post, but I like go on Bills fan sites and stuff like that. Not only are we fully on their radar this week, which we obviously are, but they always mention us every week based on what they're doing, and they always make a note about what we're doing. They are afraid that this thing is going to come all crashing down on them if they can't take care of business this year.
The pressure's on the Bills. I mean, the pressure's on them. It's on them right now.
You have to think about who they've faced in the past 5 years in order to get to the goal, which they haven't gotten to. Your Pat Mahomeses, your Joe Burrows, your Lamar Jacksons. They've had to go through all those teams. Guess what? They don't have to go through any of those teams this year. None of these teams are going anywhere as far as like whether they think they are or not. The Ravens, the Chiefs, they're not going anywhere. So it's now like it should technically be the Bills conference for the taking. They should be the ones on top, but all of a sudden they're 2 games back in the race of the AFC East, and they're facing a formidable opponent. So Bills fans are jerked off because they thought this was their year because of all the aforementioned guys I said that aren't playing up to just up to snuff or up to the expectations. They thought that this was their year, but based on the shaky play that the Bills have had all season long, now they're super nervous. So the Bills fans, I love Bills fans. They're very passionate. They're usually respectful. They're sometimes a little bit dismissive of the Patriots, which is weird because we dominated them for 20 years straight. And now they've had the past 5 years. So it's what have you done for me lately? But no, we are on their radar, and they know they should be afraid about this game coming up right here.
Yeah, it's make or break for them, I think. I think they lose this and they don't have gimme games ahead. And then not for nothing, but the Dolphins are playing really well.
They are.
The Dolphins have just come out of left field and are winning games. And
I wouldn't rule them out. I wouldn't rule them out in the last week. We played them the last week of the season. I wouldn't rule them out. I'll rule the Jets out. I'm going to rule the Jets out, just flat out. But I wouldn't rule the Dolphins out. We have 2. Let's not sugarcoat it, man. We have 2 season-defining games coming up with the Bills and then the Ravens that got flexed into prime time. So we're going to officially see what this team is made of. And we want to know. We want to see this team play the way we think they're capable of playing. We don't want them to scratch and claw and eke their way. We want to see a team that is willing and able to put a team away. So that's what I'm looking to see. And we had who's this guy? It's so cold in the D. How the F do we supposed to keep peace?
Yeah, I already called that out.
what D and what peace?
Detroit. It's Detroit.
Oh,
I told you. I'll show you that. I'll show you the clip later on after the episode. But it's funny.
Okay.
It's like an old 90s rap video. These girls that were just singing, and it's funny. It's when you see it, you'll get it.
Oh, geez. All right.
But all right. I mean, Mike, I think we got to do predictions and give me a little bit about how you think the game's gonna go, because I like doing this and then seeing how it goes.
I always like for us to defer. I always want the ball back in the second half. The main thing that I'm looking at is to prevent them from scoring a touchdown on their opening drive. Okay. If they do that, that means that we haven't completely figured it out yet at the beginning of games, and we're putting ourselves in a hole. Like if we could hold them to a field goal on that first possession, I'd be a little bit happier. So that's going to be obviously the first thing that I look for about how everybody comes out strong. And then on the offensive end, I think Drake just needs to keep doing what he's doing. You know, I like what they've been doing with him lately the past couple weeks. They haven't run a bunch of bootlegs. They haven't gotten him outside of the pocket. They've kept him in the pocket. You want to know why? Because he's learning how to master the pocket. He sits back in the pocket. The edge guys come. He steps up with both hands on the ball and keeps his eyes downfield and eventually hits the right guy. If he can continue maintaining that pocket presence specifically reminds me of one man that played here for a very long period of time, just specific to the pocket presence, where you can see or feel out of your peripherals all the activity going on around you, but you can still stay in your area and still focus downfield. Drake has proved that he can do that. And I expect that to exponentially show itself in this particular game, based on what the Bills' defensive game plan is. I think that they should rush 3 guys in the middle in the A gap every single time and knock Dre off his spot and get him running around. But I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just do a classic 4-man front and have the ends come in, let Drake step into that beautiful little circle pocket and make his throws. So I'm expecting that, unless they throw a different wrinkle in. Like I go back to, it's an old reference, but I go back to the 07 Giants, where they managed to win with just sending 4 the whole time. And they had, who was it? Strahan, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Justin Tuck, and those other guys on the inside in 07.
Yeah, just world beaters. I mean, that's the thing is these guys don't have the horses for that. That's for sure.
They went right up to A gap and they knocked Tom off his spot, and that's what messed him up. Now, the Bills don't have that, especially because you just said they have no Oliver. So they don't have that. So they're going to continue to try to collapse the pocket on the edges. That's when I think Drake thrives. He can step up in the pocket, look up. If he doesn't see anything, then he can just scoot right out for 3 or 4 yards, and that's better than nothing. So I think that's going to be the game plan. And like I said, it depends on execution. You know, I continue to have reservations about Drake early on in games, because earlier in the season he was getting the yips, and we've seen it. He gets the yips early on and his accuracy suffers because of it, and he makes some really boneheaded throws when he's not fully warmed up. So I hope they get the kid fully warmed up before this game. He's going to have plenty of time for it. So hopefully we don't see a lot of that confusion up front. Like I said, this is the second time we're playing these guys, so we should kind of know what they're doing. The Bills aren't the Bills aren't Josh McDaniels per se. They don't switch their game plan up every single week with completely different elements attacking different things. They pretty much run their offense. It goes through James Cook, it goes through RPOs with Josh Allen, and then it goes through play action, and then he can hit some guys downfield. And if that doesn't work, then he can use his hands. So the biggest thing, and I say it all the time with mobile quarterbacks, especially somebody as dynamic as Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen. Well, we did it with Mahomes too, but with Josh Allen, keep at least one spy on him. I would keep 2 spies on him. I would keep one on either side of the line and see where the hell he's going, and let everybody else just play man up and just do a strictly 4-man front and not blitz the guy, and just have all eyes pointing at him, so nobody's running downfield when he's running after them and getting 30 yards for no reason. We need to spy the guy at least with one person, at least.
I agree. So what's the score, Mike? What are you thinking?
I'm going to go with the same exact score as the first game.
Okay.
23-20 Patriots.
Wow. I like it.
It's going to be
It'll
a
be a
dog
nail
fight.
biter. I
It's gonna
agree.
be, it's going to be a dog fight. It's going to be ugly. It's that things aren't going to go our way. But just like the last time, I think Drake's going to find a couple of plays down the stretch, whether it be the honey hole or some of those broken plays downfield or, a redirect to Stephon Diggs, something like that. And it's also going to take us taking Josh Allen's legs out of the equation, which I can't wait to see. I already told you what I want to see, but I can't wait to see what they actually do about it. So, I'm going 23-20 Patriots, man. I have to. The momentum is too strong, and the Bills as a whole aren't as talented as they've normally been in the past 5 years. Are you afraid of their receivers? Are you afraid of Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir? I mean, and Ray.
Not really. And they got Gabe Davis. They got Brandon Cooks. They just signed some guys that weren't playing when we originally played them, but these guys are washed. They're, they could be counted on for a big player too. But that's probably it. I do think the key to this, if the Bills are going to win, I think that you got to stunt outside in. You got to, because both of us were looking at it and saying, man, what they did against the Giants with having those three center guys just holding down that front, and then having either a tight end or a running back taking on that first engage on the outside and then passing off to the tackle. That was genius. If I'm the Bills watching that tape, I'm saying, all right, well, we're gonna do a few things. We're gonna send linebackers right off the back of a D tackle into that hole. We're gonna have outside guys coming inside. Now that's dangerous too, because if that guy doesn't set the edge and Drake May gets to the outside, you're hosed.
Yep.
So it's interesting. I think they need to create pressure though, because if you give Drake May time, he will pick them apart. Benford is good. They have Tre'Davious White. I think he's healthy. And then they have some good players on defense as well. But our defense is stronger. We don't get after the pass rush, after the passer as much without Milton Williams, but we're still stout against the run, which is their big strength. And I think we just have, at this point, I think we have a better offense in general. I think Trevion Henderson will be one of the biggest difference makers in this game. I think he's going to have over 100 yards rushing. And I think he's going to be a huge problem. This defense hasn't really seen him to his fullest extent, and he's coming off big games, multiple big games. I do see it a little higher scoring than you, though. I do agree that it will be a slugfest, but I think there'll be some big plays. I think you could see a Brandon Cooks touchdown. You could see a Gabe Davis touchdown. You could see a busted coverage, deep shot. Or just, Josh Allen methodically driving it down the field, 12 plays, and, dinking and dunking us to death. I do think it's going to be, something like 31-27, I would say. Something like that where, it's close. But I do see the Patriots winning. I see this team coming out hot like they did against the Giants. They know what they have to do to mentally get to that point. And what better game to do it, right? With this game being, a hats and t-shirt game, as Belichick used to say. This is a huge, and we've talked about this in past shows. We're playing with house money right now, Mike. Neither of us thought we would get to.
But why not push the metal? Why not press the pedal to the metal? You know what I mean?
Exactly, because every advantage is going to help us out at this point. Obviously, I still feel like we're going to clinch the AFC East at some point this season. I think that's a foregone conclusion. But that number one seed is a big deal. That's dodging that first game will be huge.
It's huge
for our chances to getting to the Super Bowl. Because there could be some upsets. You never know in the playoffs. And if we want a chance to get to the AFC Championship at least, I think that's a huge step. There's some teams that can play well. Philip Rivers just signed with the Colts. Who knows?
Oh God.
Who knows what's going to happen with the Colts? If Daniel Jones can look good in that offense, can Philip Rivers?
I'm going to make a declaration right now. The Colts are not they're not making the playoffs. They are not making the playoffs. I don't care if Philip Rivers comes in. He's 44 years old. He hasn't played in 5 seasons. Come on, guys. Like that's a little bit excessive. I'm not afraid of the Colts at all in any way whatsoever. I think they're out of the equation.
Could
The
they
team
upset
I'm worried
somebody?
about.
Could they upset a bum ass team in the first round though? That's what I think of is could they upset somebody? Then we play them, right? We completely smash Phillip Rivers in the mouth with Milton Williams back, with all our line back. That's a possibility, right? So now you kind of have two buys, right? You got to play Phillip Rivers, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers in the second round after having a first round bye. Now you're in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in their practice squad, so I don't even know if they're going to call him. They're probably going to call him off.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah. So, but
they're looking at it and going, we got this kid Leonard or whatever his name is, and he ain't it.
Riley Leonard. No, yeah, he's hurt too. So there's not much they can do. But the bottom line is that with the new playoff format, the number one seed means so much. It didn't used to mean that much because we only had 16 playoff and two guys had buys, and I like that system just so exponentially better than I like this one. I don't think it's fair. There's only one guy that gets a bye and everybody else has to play the wild card teams. The number 2 seed should always get the bye. So I hope when they expand to 18 games, they're going to modify that as well and bring it back to 2 buys, because if we were the second team, I'd have no problem with it. We'd have a bye. But now all of a sudden we need to get the first team to get the damn bye. You want the bye.
Yep, 100%.
So we're going to have to figure that out. But I feel like if we win against the Bills, then it's only a matter of time before we overtake the Broncos for the number 1 seed, because I see a couple of L's on their horizon too. And again, they could say the same exact thing about us, and it would probably hold true. But we have confidence in our team and what we've seen. So I'm banking on us, and I'm still banking on a number 1 seed for the conference for this year, and it starts on Sunday. So I can't wait to see. It's like grown man's ultimate reality show. You know what I mean? 3.5 hours, and you have no clue how it's going to start or continue and then end. So
anyone's best guess, man. Anyone could call it out, and they're right until they're wrong.
Every week is a roller coaster, man. It's just a roller coaster.
Yep.
It's fantastic, but it's the type of ride that we want to be on. If they were 4-6 or 4-7 right now, we'd be like, all right, we'll watch. But now we have actually a lot of things on the line right here. So it's just only driven our interest even more. And me and Joe came in at the right time. We started this podcast this season because we thought it was the time with the new regime and the new quarterback. Joe had the presence of mind to strike while the iron was hot, and now we're in the midst of the best Patriots season in years on end, and we're very glad to be a part of it, and we're going to ride it through to the very end. We can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. And I have faith in my team.
I'm with you, Mike. As always, I mean, this team is head and shoulders above what we ever thought. I think in the beginning of the season, though, we did look at the schedule and go, this is tough to pick losses. And it was, loosely based off of, okay, let's see what happens with Josh McDaniels and Drake May and all these receivers and how's this going to work. But we both thought,
every test.
And we both thought like, hey, this team's going to get taken how far Drake May takes us. And that's exactly what's happening this year. Drake May has taken us farther than we probably gave him credit to. Rightfully so, though, because we didn't see, all these things, ball security, pocket awareness, read progression, all these things that are veteran level stuff. And he's doing it. Year 2, he's doing it. Year 1, 1.5, I would say he's doing it. So, yeah.
Very impressed in his pocket presence. You can see the evolution of it throughout the course of the season. This kid is not dumb. He's a smart kid, and he wants to know all of it, and he learns something new every single week. How good can this kid friggin' be, man? He's 23 years old. Like,
ridiculous.
The sky is the limit, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, imagine when he gets a premier wideout. Imagine when he gets someone like if we got like Justin Jefferson. I'm not really into the AJ Brown thing. I'm not into players that are disgruntled and
No,
have
I agree.
problems, and
I don't want him. I don't want him.
even Justin Jefferson's kind of like, you know what? Let's just get a new young kid that trade up and go get, a Carnell
Yeah, no,
Tate.
I'm afraid of veteran diva receivers for this particular crew, and
I agree.
that's why I was wary of Steph Diggs. But he proved all of my suspicions right out of the water with the way he's conducted himself and the way he's been a teammate and comported himself within the organization. He's acted like an absolute true dog competitor who's all about his teammates. Can't say enough about the guy, but not every diva receiver is like that. So I would prefer personally, Joe, for us to just draft from within, because we had a great draft this past draft, and I don't see that changing next year because Vrabel's going to continue to get. Let's not make a mistake. Vrabel tells Elliott Wolf who to draft. All right,
yeah.
so I don't
Vrabel and Cowden run the show. They were on the show.
Yeah, Cowden, Stretch, and Vrabel are running that, and they're just having Elliott Wolf actually call the pick in. So I have confidence in their draft strategy. I don't want a big diva receiver next year. I really don't. I think based on what you've done with the guys you've had, if you draft somebody high, the sky can only be more of the limit there. And I know Mike wants to grow from within too. So I'd rather see that route than get a diva receiver because they're way too overpriced and they complain when they don't get the ball. Our offense is not a one-man show as far as receive. He spreads it out to everybody. There's no favorite. He goes with the best read, regardless of who it is. And that's why it's so potent and dangerous. You never know who he's going to go to. He doesn't have a go-to guy. He completed completions to 8 different receivers last week or 2 weeks ago. So, one day you'll have Mac Hollins, one day you have Booty, one day you have Diggs, one day you even have freaking Demario Douglas or Kyle Williams on a one-off getting his touchdowns and whatnot. So if he can do this with this type of receiver core, if they draft a stud next year, I think that all funnels into it and plays into it. So I like to see them do it that way. As far as free agency, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. I like to see them upgrade, on the offensive line and maybe some linebacker depth and just some defensive line depth. Just better guys. We have depth, but just like guys that are a little bit better.
Yeah, give us some more edge. I think give us an upgraded edge rusher or an outside linebacker who can also rush.
We're gonna need edge guys.
Yeah, we got to generate more pressure. I wouldn't mind seeing an upgrade at safety as well. Jalen Hawkins has played admirably, but could you upgrade that position as well? Our second corner, right? I think we need to draft somebody there. That's
Carlton Davis is hit and miss, man. He really is.
He's played great towards it. When you need him to, he plays well.
Yeah, past couple games he's been all right.
Yeah, he comes on towards the end of the game, but all right. Well, it's the biggest game of the year. I don't think there'll be a bigger game outside of the playoffs. The Ravens are kind of reeling in a loss to the Steelers, and then you got the Jets and the Dolphins. So yeah, Mike, this is as big as it gets. And of course, my wife made plans on Sunday to go to Track 15 to have a little holiday party smack dab in the middle of the game. So I told her we're going early so I can watch the whole game in the one spot because I hate moving. I will not move. Once I start watching the game, I'm not moving. So,
yeah. Well, you know how I am. I'm down in the dungeon.
Yeah,
and
I got it all. Me too.
I got the red zone going. I got the pass game going. I got my son over here. We go through all the scenarios. So, I'm totally ready for it. I can't friggin' wait.
I will be texting. Don't worry, Mike. That's for sure.
It's going to be a litmus test for us. It's a huge measuring stick for our Patriots team, and you can't overstate that. It's just the truth.
It's the most primetime 1:00 game of the whole season for sure.
Of course. I'm amazed they didn't flex that out, but they probably didn't have enough time by the time they want to do it. But they at least did the Baltimore game, which I have confidence in that too. But I'm not going to speak on it at all because we're on Bills week right now.
That's it. We're not there yet.
We'll talk about the Ravens next week, but I like our chances. I like 23-20.
All right, Mike. Well, let's see what happens. Thank you to the sponsors, Horizon HVAC, Rogue Island. Follow us on X. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to us as well on YouTube. It doesn't cost anything. I don't know if old folks know that. I used to think years ago when you hit subscribe, it would like bill me something. Like, subscribe, comment, share us.
It's all free. It's all free.
All free. But yeah, we're growing, boys. We're definitely growing. We got a lot of events coming up, so stay tuned. And as always, let's fucking go.
Do it.